Hey guys, this is Kit, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit of how I work with some resin. Um, this resin that I'm using is going to be UV resin, so you're going to need a UV light if you want to cure it. You can also use the other ones, the 24-hour, 48 hours, but again, these ones are drier, faster drying, quicker drying, hardening type of method. And for smaller jewelry, it works out just fine. And I can give you guys some tips and tricks on how to use them with different kinds of powders and colorants and glitter and things like that, including alcohol ink, because you can get some amazing designs from alcohol ink, which I will show another time. I'm taking out some molds real quick, just some ones that I kind of sort of want to work on, and I'm going to make decisions based on the time that I have versus what my plans are for a project. And whenever you're working with resin, you want to make sure you have as flat of a surface as you possibly can, because if you have a bubble in your surface, which I do and it's driving me nuts, it will make your resin move like towards the bottom or towards the side or whatever. These are brand new. I've never used them, so I'm going to try some different stuff in here. And then these are not new, obviously, because if you know me or you've been to my shop, then you know that I have a lonely whale, and I've been planning a digital one as well. I got a couple of things that I wanted to show really quickly that I got. So I do have different types of resins for this part right here. Oh, I'm gonna move this over. Let's get that away because it's something else. I do have different kinds of resins depending on what kind of style you're looking for with your resin and like what you're looking to happen in your design. So my favorite is actually this one, Let's Resin Hard. It's my favorite one, especially for doming. It gives a nice, really hard coat. It's thick, so it holds your glitters and stuff like that. I've never used this one. This one's brand new. Never used this one. It's brand new. I just got some. So this one I used. I liked it, but it's not a hard resin. It says hard, but it's not. It cures soft, and you have to kind of wait a while on it before you can use it, like to dome and stuff, because if not, it will be really, really soft still, and like it'll come off on your gloves and off on anything else. This one is also really nice, which is the one I'm probably going to start with because I already opened this one. This is a really good one as well, and I order all of these on Amazon, although there are resin websites that you can go to get, if you want to get something bigger, you can. The biggest I've seen on Amazon is 500 in a bottle, 500 grams. I tend to stick around the 200 to 250 because I have a small space. So that's UV resin. So there is a 2-part resin, which I don't have up here with me, and it's because it's really smelly. It takes 24 to 48 hours to cure. So for those kind of things, I would use them for bigger pieces like coasters and stuff like that. Or if you're going to do like a clear layer of resin over a big piece like a tray or something like that, that would be perfect. Especially if you have the space, and also you're going to want to make sure you have something to cover it while it cures because it does take so long, but you also don't want bugs or dust or anybody to touch it, because if they touch it, they'll mess it up. I tend not to use it as much because of that exact reason. I have 2 kids who live in my home with me. So anyways, so that's the resin part. And then I was going to talk a little bit about colors, and that's where it gets a little tricky, because for colors, there's a lot of options when you're talking about coloring resin. So most people know about mica powder, and mica powder is used in makeups. It's also used in resin, soaps, stuff like that, and it comes like, it's really, really pretty. But in UV resin, you have to be careful about the amount of sparkly, non-translucent things that you add to your resin. And the reason why I'm saying that, excuse the car, the reason why I'm saying that is because the more opaque the UV resin is, the harder it is for it to cure. And then you want to do things in layers, which actually is a very beautiful plan, and I will show you on one of these guys. And also, I'm going to use these super long ones, but on one of these guys I will show you how to layer your resin. And you see that this is very thin, so you have to do thin layers, whereas this is thicker. And then you can dome over the top to make it a little thicker if you want to. You don't have to, but you should to make it shiny. So that's mica powders. Okay. Then you have your, I have a lot of them, and I'm not going to pull out the entire bucket. Liquid pigments, and these come in all kinds of different colors and stuff. So for right now, I'm just going to show you some ones that I have that are kind of a little different. This one is still in its packaging. I just got this. And just for intents and purposes, I will show you alcohol ink. Although alcohol ink and UV resin is really difficult, and if you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you practice a lot. So these are different types of colorants for your resins. This is a translucent. It's a liquid. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's a liquid and it's translucent. So when you put it into your piece, it's kind of clear. You don't want to overdo it because it is a liquid, and the more liquid you add to resin, the more unstable it is. And I will explain about that with the alcohol ink. Then this one is a pearlescent. These are actually from Japan. And it's a pearlescent, and whenever you use liquids with any kind of shine, or even just regular liquids, alcohol inks, whatever, you're going to want to shake it before you, because they separate out. So this is like a pearlescent. This is a pearlescent blue, actually. And so it picks up more shades of blue. This one is a pearlescent pink beige, which I haven't used yet, but I planned on using it for Stitch Swap, but I might, I don't know. And then this is actually the color I use for oceans. This is cyan, and this, very little bit of this goes a long way. So buying 10 milliliters of this is a steal if you can find it. So that's those different kinds of colorants from other places. Now we're going to talk about alcohol ink and UV resin specifically. Regular 2-part resin and alcohol ink is great because of the way that it settles and moves. Alcohol ink is very loose. It's alcohol, obviously. But it doesn't really set that well with UV resin unless you use very, very little bit. And I mean, I usually take like a piece of wire or something like that, and I get it on there and I dip it in there, because you don't want to use too much of it. And because of that, I don't really use these as much as I thought I would, because I don't use the 2-part resin as much as I'd like. Okay. That's the end of part 1 so far. And then I will have another one up in a day or so, which will have the rest of the colorants, glitters, and stuff like that, and other things that I use inside the resins, including inserts. And then we will start the process of an actual cast, of which I will show you how you resin and harden, and I will show you the UV light and the other ones that I have. I have two different ones. And I will show you all of those things on the next cast.